Please tell me, dear viewer, if I've missed some kind of affirmative action mandate that says that news stations must hire people who have brain damage, because that's the only way that what I've been reading and what I've been watching would make sense. I have no doubt that you've likely heard about the journalists who were shot and killed live on air in Virginia. Well, guess what? Atlanta's WSB-TV has some interesting new information on the shooter from two fantastic sources. Even though it comes at the end of both their video and written coverage, I'm going to look at the simpler one first. Get that out of the way. The written article is called "Local Gamer Says He Communicated with Shooter That Killed Journalists Online," and it ends with the beautiful line, "The day of the shooting, someone else tweeted, Bryce Williams was a noted GamerGate supporter." Their TV coverage also referred to this tweet.
The day of the shooting, someone else tweeted, Bryce Williams was a noted GamerGate supporter.
The tweet was actually made by someone I am subscribed to here on YouTube, Margaret McLennan, Margaret's Belly on Twitter. And here's the tweet in question. I think to anyone with 2 fucking brain cells, it's clearly taking the piss. And if you look at her Twitter account, you can see her irritation at the way they used her tweet, and annoyance that they didn't contact her, nor did they try to verify that statement. They just used it to add in at the end. They've now removed it, but the removal isn't actually noted. At the top of the piece, it says it was updated on the 28th. However, archived copies of the site show that as of today, the 29th, it was still there. The archived copies of the site also include at the top the note of the update, so obviously it isn't referring to the removal of that last sentence, which means that was done without note. And that brings us to their other amazing source, the anonymous gamer they spoke to. Why would they be so keen to throw in Margaret's tweet at the end? Because the guy they talked to mentioned GamerGate, and boom, there, easy. Someone on Twitter said he was connected. There, look, we've got 2 sources. We've got an interview and we've got people on Twitter. Again, we're going to first look at the article on their website and then the video coverage. The gamer, who asked not to be identified, said he plays online video games with a group known as GamerGate. When he saw the violent video Flanagan posted online the day he allegedly shot his former co-workers, the similarities to games he says he played with Flanagan were shocking. It's crazy, because you see him standing there holding the gun. It looked like the game. It looks like the game we played, the gamer said. Well, no shit, of course a point of view video of someone holding a gun is going to look like a first person shooter, but it does just make it seem like, oh, this game is a bit ditzy, they're just shocked by their thoughts. Here's a little bit of how it's presented in the TV segment.
Progressively became angrier and angrier.
This local gamer who plays online video games with a group known as GamerGate is talking about the man he believed was Bryce Williams. He showed me this online conversation he says he had with him back in February. Gamer, do you want to play CSGO? Flanagan, not right now, I'm kind of out of it. Gamer, why? Flanagan, I can't get WDBJ out of my mind. I have a strong dislike of those people.
So if you go watch this, the way they've cut the gamer up, he sounds a bit daft. And Steam chat between Counter-Strike Global Offensive players, with a guy so angry that in the future he goes on to kill people saying, I have a strong dislike of those people. No fucking way. With the way they presented his interview in the article on their website and in the TV news segment, it still seems strange that they just source a random gamer, but you could at least imagine that this guy they're interviewing is being sincere, and perhaps the news team did a little bit more to verify, so it's not just completely random. However, on their website they have included the full interview with this gamer. Here are some highlights.
What was his name on the GamerGate?
Sorry to interrupt so soon. Just in case you couldn't quite tell what she was saying, I think she said, "What was his name out on the GamerGate?" Big red alarms should be going off in your mind already.
What was his name on the GamerGate?
It was like B. Will something something something. He didn't really use like a real alias. Like, stopped being about video game ethics and journalism and more about like harassing people and like harassing women in video games and stuff like that. And he seemed passionate about, you know, his job. Like I said, he got involved with GamerGate, which is journalism, ethics, and all that stuff. So, you know, he was very passionate about being a journalist. And so, like, the Glock that he used is a Glock. It looks exactly like the Glock from the game. Like, if you go to Google and you type in Glock CSGO or Glock Counter-Strike Global Offensive, they're the same weapon. So that may have played a part in, you know.
So not recognizing this guy as being a troll, a wind-up artist, is bad enough. That just means they're absolute idiots. But I actually think it's a little bit worse than that. I think their use of snippets from this interview is selective to deliberately make him not look like a troll. They know what's up. There's no way they couldn't understand.
There's also this other guy who frequently bullied Bryce, I guess is the right way to say it. His name was Sam Hyde. He was a member of an online group called $1 Million Extreme. Sam Hyde, you can look up his name, $1 Million Extreme MDE. They have like a YouTube channel and a Twitter account, and they were really just heavily involved in just pushing an already unstable, you know, individual over the edge, which is pretty scary, you know, to think about, because
The written article doesn't mention this bit, and I've seen two different versions of the TV segment. One where it just includes the gamer mentioning that the guy was supposedly bullied by Sam Hyde of $1 Million Extreme, and another where that isn't included. The only sources I have of the version where it is mentioned are on YouTube, and may have been edited to include the clip from the full interview. I'm not sure. The video attached to the article on their website does not include the name drop. Perhaps deliberately. Regardless, no versions I've seen include that second clip or even further context. Context that would have made it clear to absolutely fucking anyone that something is up. Especially if they did go ahead and search for Sam Hyde. You'd see that pulling shit like this is just their kind of thing, and it would raise suspicion. But they snipped it up in such a way that the average person is going to see that and just think, wow, this guy was bullied online. Makes their story look a bit more legitimate than it would if they included different bits. And now, obviously loving that they got a shout out and loving that this happened, $1 Million Extreme has uploaded the video to their channel. The description of which says, "This video is by YouTube user You Had to Do It," and says they are grateful for the name drop. In the comments they say again, "This was all you had to do it. Name dropped me as a favor." And if you look at the guy's channel, he's clearly into his trolling. Whether or not it was this guy, this news station has definitely been screwed with. And I think they knew, but just couldn't miss the opportunity to get some more attention before the bodies get too cold. This needs to be addressed, either properly by them or by another outlet that can force them to address it. They can't be allowed to just sweep it under the rug, because otherwise, people just see it's in the news, they listen, and they believe. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.